They played them close this year.
All right, we're live. Make sure that window doesn't fuck us on an echo. It's the Spinnin Backfist, it's the Spinnin Backfist MMA show for December 1st, Thursday, December 1st. First show in a little bit. We took the little holiday break for Thanksgiving. Hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving.
We had a show.
Did we have a show after Thanksgiving?
Wednesday, right?
We did PFL last week.
Yeah, that was before.
True. Very true.
We did go to PFL, the three of us. We were ringside. Jack made sure that there was justice and safety in the sport of mixed martial arts all night. Made sure that Ali didn't try anything with a video that's now gone viral all over the MMA world.
I knew it was going to because when at first he was just coaching, I was like, oh, this is cool. Like we got a video and it's like PFL treated us well, so let's over deliver with like ringside stuff and whatnot. But then he went into the corner, into the neutral corner, which is where like Florian and the announcers were, and
which is very illegal.
Very illegal. Yep. And then the ref came over, then a commissioner came over, and he essentially like told him to fuck off, but then eventually went back to his seat. But it was like in a very significant part of the fight. Fourth round when Kayla was on top and not really doing much.
Yeah.
And then Pachenko's manager went on the MMA Hour.
Yeah.
And started talking about the video.
He was pissed.
Yeah, no, I would be pissed too.
Yeah. It's cheating.
But Ali was
he was ride or die for his fighter. I don't know if you guys saw Kayla on the MMA Hour yesterday, but Ariel brought this video up to her as well. And she was legitimately stunned about this. Like, she hasn't even seen the video.
Yeah,
she's like, what do you mean he was coaching me? And she's like, he was in the neutral corner. She's like, when? Like, when in the fight? And Ariel was like, I think it was during the triangle. She was like, then her thighs were around my ears. She's like, I didn't hear any of that. She's like, I didn't hear, like, people were upset about it. She did say she's trying to stay off social media. Makes sense. I'm sure.
I'm always curious the fighters how much of that they actually hear.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I don't know if you guys remember during the Moraes fight, there was a guy sitting right next to me.
Yeah.
That clearly was screaming instructions in a different language.
Yeah.
Portuguese, probably.
Definitely. I would assume so. They both are Brazilian, right?
Yep. Yeah.
And he was clearly like, because there was little words in between that, like I could clearly tell he was giving instructions, but he was yelling very loud.
Yeah. I saw also OAM, who, congratulations, member of the Spinnin Backfist alum, won $1 million. He was on the MMA Hour yesterday, and he was saying that he heard GSP calling for instructions, and he said he kept calling for like a high kick, and OAM threw a and it got caught, and he got taken down, and he got his back taken, and he's like, that was GSP's fault. He's like, he told me to throw the kick, so I throw the kick.
I was watching GSP when OAM was fighting, and he was very composed, but maybe I just missed the part where
he also said he heard GSP call for an elbow, which, you know, PFL is the only MMA organization where you cannot throw elbows because of the cuts.
Yep.
So he said he was just like on top of Stevie Ray or something, and he heard GSP like, elbow, elbow, elbow. Why are you not throwing elbow? And he was like, I can't. He also lost his check, OAM. Not like the big one, like the real one. He's like, I lost my check. I need to get a new one. Hysterical.
But someone could cash it.
No, you can't. It has his name. It has his name.
Yeah, it has his name on it. Also, very funny him talking about the knockout. He was like, yeah, I did not expect to knock him out.
Yeah, it's so great. OAM's one of my favorites. And we met someone at the fights that was like, he would love to do more stuff with you guys. So
Where's the guy sitting at the end? He was like my father.
We're totally in on that. We'd love to do more with the Canadian
Also,
gangster.
very funny moment in post cage when Steve Ray obviously gets like knocked out. He comes up to him. He's like, what did you hit me with? And he literally showed him, like, he just goes like this.
Yeah.
And I'll be still like, even just showing him, he literally put up the left hand to guard his face. Like,
yeah. And I mean, Steve Ray was very thankful for that, but it was very funny. And then they like kind of hugged.
Also, a big part of the night was we were sitting right in front of like families the entire night.
Yes.
They were getting shift in and out.
It was like the blue corner. Usually, I think they would bring in like the family. They sit behind us for the fight.
I think it was random, actually.
Was it?
Because it was like some fights, it was the favorite and some the underdog. because like
Maybe it
Lockney
was,
was the
yeah.
favorite and they were behind us.
That's right.
But then like the Dej, like
And then
Ante,
what's his mailman? Man, that was
Postman,
like
yeah, the postman.
which was postman.
Man.
Whenever somebody would say something for
they were going back
Sadabu.
because Sadabu's family was going nuts.
Yeah.
And they were just matching them every time.
Every single time they chanted, they were like, "We gotta get a louder chant."
Postman.
Brendan Lochnane's family were so loud. My ears
Nuts.
are
I
still
loved
ringing
it.
from them. They were saying, Bubba, you bitch, Bubba, you bitch. They were screaming Lochnane, and then he wins, obviously. Huge celebration, cheers. They're going crazy. Every time I turned around, his wife was bawling. Like even mid-fight, she was just bawling. And Large turns around because this is, if you saw on the 13th round, Large's fifth cousin is Brendan Lochnane. Turns around, he goes, "Fuck Bubba Jenkins, $1 million, easy money." And someone goes, "Oh, really? Easy money? I'm Bubba's cousin." And tries to fight Large. Large said that
crazy. He told me too.
guys were literally grabbing this guy and pulling him away from Large in the
He
celebration.
literally wanted to square up with Large in the.
And I'm sure Large was much bigger than this guy.
You would imagine.
Because Bubba's like, I mean, if it's cousin, I mean, Bubba's not a small guy, but he's not
And
like
Large is a large guy.
Large is large.
His nickname is Large. He's large.
And he knows how to fight too.
Yeah, former boxer. He said he was like, I could picture Large being so like chill in these situations. He said he was just like, chill the fuck out.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, he's here with like his kids.
Yeah, and his 80-year-old dad.
80-year-old father.
Yeah.
But it was like overall a really fun experience, and it was a great fight card as well. There were some.
It was.
The
really
fights were.
fun to
I
be
thought
there.
really the only like dud of a fight action wise was the Sadabu.
Yep.
Which makes sense.
Which
Kickboxer.
like his kickboxer, like Delano was out with big puncher trying to get
Aspen
inside.
Lad, Julia Budd was. It was okay.
That one too. I thought I got fucked. I thought I made a good bet last minute.
You did.
I thought I was gonna get Bud home.
I
but
think
it was split,
that
I
should have
believe.
probably been on prelims, but whatever. Doesn't matter.
Every fight that we saw for the $1 million, like you said, other than the Sadabu fight though, delivered. Obviously, Kayla, we wanted to see win after making the video with her. I might just be the kiss of death. Make a video with these people. Me and Ev made a video with Anthony Pettis last time.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Just
0-3 favorites every time.
real bad. And Kayla was a big favorite. She handled the loss like a champ. She had a good post-fight presser. She had a good interview on Helwani's show. I hit her up. I said, in your corner. She said, thanks. But she's been staying off social media. Anything else from PFL that was worth talking about? Oh, we saw, I mean, tons of celebrities there and
Big time
fighters and whatnot. We saw Wiz Khalifa. My girlfriend went to the bathroom and Clarissa Shields was like, "Hey, can you zip me up?" She came out. She was like, "Who's that boxer?" It's like only the greatest female boxer of all time.
Yeah, in front of us. Clarissa was in front of us, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
We also, me and Robbie, we were right next to Lil Boozy
Yep.
for like a second, like literally like almost shoulder to shoulder with him.
They were like having like a reunion with a bunch of people
Lil
over
Boozy
there.
he saw
Why was
he loved
Boozy
Rashad
there?
Evans.
Yeah. He was like, this is the legend.
He was like, he literally gave Rashad Evans like the big. He almost like jumped on him like a kid.
Yeah.
Like after his dad got home from war, like he literally just jumped on him. It was so funny.
We saw Rashad. We saw GSP, Aljamain Sterling, Shane Burgos, Hamzat got the biggest.
Hamzat got a massive pop.
He came in and he got mobbed.
Yeah, Frankie Edgar was there.
Yep.
Eddie Alvarez,
Justin Gaethje, Henry Cejudo.
Yeah,
Saw Cejudo and Aljamain going at it, not physically but verbally going at it.
Our sworn enemy Aaron Blanchfield was there.
She was, unfortunately, yeah.
There was the guy there that I was more excited to see than you guys were. I still don't know his name. The guy who
looks like the adult Hezbollah.
The adult Hezbollah.
Yeah. Not
and
Piotr
250 pounds.
Yeah.
He fought in the UFC and he's a fucking beast.
Yeah.
It's like the Siberian bear or something.
Who else did we see? I'm trying to think. I feel like we're missing out on like.
Well, Ali was like, I swear to God, Ali thought he was a mafia boss, like old school.
He basically was, to be honest. Like,
I know.
In that room, he basically is.
He kind of is.
Oh,
yeah.
Gaethje was there.
Yep.
Yeah, I got a drink.
I saw Gaethje like walking past the ring girls, like saying things to them. I was like, "Fucking look at Justin Gaethje."
Ray Longo, all them.
Yep. We met Longo briefly.
Yeah.
I think he was a little drunk. Yeah.
Was he?
Well, it's like the guy behind him was like taking him along.
I think they were just pals.
Oh, okay. Even if he was drunk,
there was one guy that was drunk behind us.
Oh my God.
He was not legit.
He was throwing up.
Like
at the end, he was literally just like because because there was a lady like next to him that was like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah,
because he wasn't like a kid. He was
he was an old
he was like
man.
60 years old.
Yeah.
He was asleep, and then literally was like throwing up between his feet, like just like
right behind where
seats.
the families were sitting.
We saw him trying to get a cab afterwards, dude, just like stumbling up the cab.
Really? You saw him?
Yeah.
So funny.
Overall, great night though. Great night for the PFL, and I feel like even though Kayla lost, there's probably more intrigue in her next fight than there's ever been.
Well, I mean, Don Davis been tweeted like he basically just made like this big offer for the Cyborg fight.
He did.
It was like $1 million for each fighter, $2 million more for each,
and a Rolls Royce.
And basically, and a Rolls Royce, your choice.
Yeah,
pretty classy by Don Davis.
Oh yeah.
And Cyborg's been responding saying they want like 80-20 revenue split.
That's crazy.
I
see,
don't know.
To me, that's a little bit like you don't want to fight. Maybe I'm
literally
wrong.
Offering like he said the biggest purse in women's MMA history.
80-20 is insane. Like how are you going to ask for 80-20?
Now at the same time, this was debated on the MMA Hour like a ton, even with Kayla. Do you feel like there's more intrigue right now in a Kayla Harrison Cyborg fight or a Kayla Harrison Pashenko rematch? Even though it's the fourth fight, there's a storyline there. There's a built-in like she wants to overcome that. So
me personally, I think Cyborg just because I just want to see we haven't seen it.
Yeah. I think that.
It's Cyborg.
I also would like to see now. I'd like to see Pacheco fight the big dogs too.
Yeah.
Like now, I want to see Pacheco fight. I
mean, she put on a hell of a performance.
That's what I'm saying. She looked really good.
Obviously, we're upset about Kayla, but not to downplay Pacheco. Her striking from the bottom in this fight was as good as you could ever ask for.
I was saying the whole fight. I thought that won her the fight.
Yeah. Probably one of the fifth round.
The big shots she was landing because she did it in a few different rounds.
Yeah.
Whenever she was on bottom, she was landing massive shots, and I thought that was almost like leading to her basically winning those exchanges, even though she was on the bottom.
Yeah.
I mean, damage is number one.
Yeah, and
she was doing way more of it. I thought, to be honest,
on the MMA Hour, Kayla was saying like the hardest pill to swallow was she was like, I went out to the fifth with nothing left in the tank.
You could see it.
She's like, I just had nothing.
You could see
that's what hurts so much is like I couldn't do anything. I just couldn't.
Because I remember even saying you after the fourth, because on the video they would show each of them in their corner, and she just was kind of like very like head down.
Head down, yeah.
And like Pacheco was very much like her corner is giving her like, hey, like
you're about to win $1 million.
Win this fight. Like you can really go win this right now if you just get up.
Also, who was calling out Locknane? Was it Charles Rosa? Did you see that?
Yes, I did see that.
What a weird call out.
No, I think Charles Rosa just wants like some money from PFL.
Some attention, yeah.
No, he was saying like UFC.
Yeah, he was saying like UFC's got to sign this guy so I could fight him.
He said I cleared it with Dane because I don't know if you saw McGregor tweet about Locknane.
He did, yeah.
And basically was like, great story. Like this guy's an action fighter, exciting fighter. Would be a great
European fighter.
European signing. Like, but I was talking to Large about it, and I was like, I think that's true. I think he proved himself. He clearly would belong in that group. But at the same time, he might make more money with the PFL.
Yeah, no.
Even without the $1 million, pure fight paychecks.
Because after this, too,
now he's like a PFL star.
Yeah, exactly.
So he clearly get a raise for next year. And I don't think Dana's gonna like back up the Brinks truck for him. Just that's just not how they operate.
There's also maybe part of Dana that like I'm not saying I know this about him, but I could see him being stubborn and being like, I decided not to sign this guy.
I agree, but I also think Dana loves that like that comeback story.
True.
Where he's like, this guy, like he basically kind of is like almost like he proved it to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
like he went out, he like had put on these incredible fights. He wins the PFL title.
He did that on Dana. There was a guy in Dana White's Contender Series this year who won his fight last time and then came back but didn't get signed. There's been quite
a few of those.
And then this year he did, and he was like, shout out to this guy. He got better. He did what we said. And so,
True. And
what got mad at Locknane for was shooting that takedown. Now he's like an action fighter. So I could see Dana just being like, oh no, you're fucking legit.
The crazy thing is it was shooting the takedown with like 10 seconds left.
I know.
Like it was really late.
He was like, you should go for the finish.
He basically was like, you should have because he basically was saying you took the safe way out. You didn't go for the finish.
But yeah, no, I mean
Charles Rosa is, I think Lockney would piece up Charles.
Oh, Rosa. It would be.
It's the weirdest call out. Like
it's clout. It's a clout call out.
You know what? Rosa fought. What's his name?
Nathaniel Wood. It got
it would be the same thing.
Got dominated.
I think it would be the same thing.
And Wood was a 135er. And Wood was like piecing him up.
I could see Wood a Wood Locknane fight would be sick.
Yeah.
Just because they're both action fighters. I think Wood's a little bit faster, but like they're both just the only thing with Locknane is he relies so much on his speed. He's 33. He needs to, like, if he wants to go to the UFC, he should go now.
Yeah.
There's two other MMA news items that I feel like we have to talk about before going to UFC Orlando. One of which is breaking my heart. It's the breakup of Conor McGregor and Artem Lobov. These guys were the best of pals. I mean, Artem's been with him since the beginning. We heard that Artem gave him such hard sparring rounds in the beginning. Conor got him a UFC contract, essentially. I mean, Artem did
the Ultimate Fighter thing. Yeah.
He, Conor brought him back after a loss.
He literally said, "I'm not going to coach unless he's in it."
Exactly.
Basically willed him back into it.
Got a main event against Cub Swanson when everyone was like, he has no business in this main event, even though he put on a great fight and great performance in that fight. Got him the fight against Paulie Malignaggi. They've done everything together for decades now. Conor flew across the fucking world to throw a dolly at Khabib's bust because Khabib smacked Artem in a hotel lobby. Like, this is crazy to me that Artem is now suing Conor McGregor, saying in a bit of a social network way, like, I gave you the idea for Facebook. I gave you the idea for Proper 12. He's saying Conor was going to start a vodka business. And Artem was like, no, I know people in the whiskey business. I'm going to connect you with. Connected with him. He's now asking for 5% of the $600 million that Conor made in 2021 when he sold the company, or his majority stake. That's $30 million. Conor McGregor is pissed about this. Obviously, he's also being sued for defamation and offered to fight Artem for the lawsuit this week.
I'm going to fight him in like a parking lot.
He was like, yeah, come on down to SBG Concord. We'll have a fight for the whole lawsuit. He said he would sue Artem for his weird ad. Did you see that ad he put out yesterday?
I didn't see. No, not Artem's.
There's like some weird Russian ad, I believe, for a betting company, where Artem like walks up to some business general and he's like, gives him a code name, and then McGregor, like a fake McGregor, pops up on the screen. It looks like McGregor, sounds like him. He's like, oh, we got to get to chopping or something. And then Artem's like, I got the mission. McGregor's like, what the fuck is this? He's like, I would sue, but I prefer jail. So McGregor's pissed. Artem's pissed. These former best friends are now bitter enemies. He's calling Artem a rat. He's going, Artem is a rat. Hey, Artem.
That was very funny.
Hey.
He's like the only guy I know on Twitter who uses the voice memo.
Only guy.
Thing.
Loves it.
Only guy.
He loves that fucking voice memo thing.
You know who else has done it? Doesn't do it like Conor McGregor, but Liam Gallagher. Which it makes sense, like,
because it's Europeans,
they get a little
drunk, the WhatsApp, and
they go right on the voice
they
memos.
all do voice memos on WhatsApp too.
And I know that about Conor. I know from his boys, they say he like communicates almost exclusively in the voice
That's
memos.
The same with expressions.
Yeah,
I working with expressions. If I send him a text, he replies with a voice memo.
So this is just a crazy situation. I don't think Artem showed up to the gym to fight. I think we would have heard something about that.
Imagine you saw like them fight like what's like Rocky 5? No. When he fights Tommy Morrison.
Oh,
was it Rocky 5 or 6?
Yeah, Rocky 5.
Where he just straight up like in the alley of like Philadelphia.
That is Rocky 5, the worst Rocky. I just rewatched
I really kind of enjoy watching it though.
Rocky 5?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, I hate it.
I do like it.
It's the only Rocky I don't enjoy watching.
It's just interesting. Just the dynamic is different.
I also don't love Rocky 2. Which I like the fight at the end of it. The whole thing with Adrian in the coma or whatever. I'm not into that.
Yeah.
Just rewatched Creed 2 yesterday though, and
Creed's great.
Creed
up. 3 looks great too.
It looks awesome. That's why I rewatched it. I was like, I'm just getting fired up. My girlfriend hadn't seen it. And then the other MMA news story I wanted to talk about is Paddy the Baddy and Jake Paul.
Yeah.
This came out of nowhere. Paddy did an interview with Pub Talk, and he said he thinks Jake Paul's getting pretty good, but he thinks that last fight against Anderson was fixed because of that blurry angle of like the knockout that doesn't look like a knockout. If you watch the real HD angle, you could tell that was a punch that really landed. I think it's absurd. We've talked about it on the show a bunch. I think it's absurd to suggest Jake Paul's fights are fixed.
Agreed.
He would have to be at the center of this mastermind criminal operation that's
would
fooling millions of people.
If I was consulting somebody to start a beef with him, I would say put out there that they're fixed.
Of course.
Like, we don't believe it, but it's a great way to get your name out there. Or like, not that Patty needs his name out there, but if like you want to start a beef and make some money,
a beef.
Yeah. Just say they're fake. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it started a beef. Jake Paul's pissed. He says, I'll offer you $1 million to fly out to Puerto Rico, spar me, and beat me. If I beat you, though, you have to join my fighters union, which is basically like fighters against Dana White.
And is anybody in that fucking union?
European fighters.
Yeah.
Is anybody in that fucking?
Who knows?
I don't think so.
Is that
He
just
keeps
like a
saying,
shell
like,
company that he could just be like, "Yo, shit"?
I think so. And he said to Anderson, like, if I beat you, you have to join. And Anderson shook on it.
And they
Does
were
that
like,
mean
"We're
Anderson's
going
in
to
it now?
And they said, if I win, we're going to fight the good fight.
Yeah.
Where's that been?
I think Jake Paul does this so MMA fighters don't like all turn on him. I think he does this to like say he's doing the right thing. I don't think.
I mean,
he's like actually
maybe he has
start
some
the
mastermind coming, but it hasn't fucking
I'd be
shown
stunned.
up.
Him and Nikisa, who Dana hates now because that's his manager who used to be at the UFC, used to work with the Fertitas.
Okay.
I don't see a real union coming from this. And I also don't see Jake Paul, Patty the Batty sparring session coming from this, even though Patty did accept.
Well, he also said like do it in the it's with the classic like box me and the classic like fight me MMA, and they're both like no.
Patty said he would box him. He said I'll go straight boxing match, but he's got to come to the UFC Performance Institute. And it's like Jake Paul would never even be allowed inside.
Yeah.
Patty said he would fight him before his fight against Jared Gordon, which we all know isn't going to happen. And then he said if you want to do it afterwards, the Monday afterwards, I'll be up to 180, maybe 190. We could fight then. And like I don't think Dana, even if Jake Paul was like, all right, I'm flying into Vegas, I think Dana White would shut that down beforehand.
Of course.
Like it's,
of course,
you can't have fighters under contract with the UFC in $1 million matches.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and it's also who wins in a sparring match? Do you fly in judges? Do you try to get judges? Is it just knockouts?
Well, I mean, at that point, if you're sparring for like $1 million, that's a fight.
That's a fight. Yeah.
That's not the sparring. You're fighting.
That's a fight with a huge purse.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, bizarre.
So I don't think this is going to happen, but it was certainly interesting. I saw the fucking idiots in our comment section. I blogged about this yesterday. The number one comment on this was like, this is obviously fake and Barstool's put it on to make money. And it's like, how are we making money from Patty and Jake?
Those like the same people that say like the fights are fixed. Like everyone's brains are just so broken.
Wait,
now.
are they saying that you got paid to blog that or something?
Essentially, yes. That Patty and Jake's feud, if you want to call it that, is a Barstool concoction that we've created to make money for our brand somehow.
Oh, nice. We're in concoction with all like UFC too.
Like what?
That's why we told UFC that Molly should fight Aaron Blanchard. Yeah.
It would be amazing if we were, putting on these. If we were like, "Yo, Jake, fucking
call out
here's
Patty.
What you're
He's
gonna
gonna call you out.
It's like
we're gonna blog about it. We're gonna tweet about it. It's gonna be awesome.
That's just
because
not
Jake
how
needs that fucking publicity.
We're gonna get all the views.
He's the most popular.
And that was like the number one. And I was just like, you don't even get mad at it. You're just like, you don't know anything about anything.
You're just dumb. You're just fucking stupid.
Crazy.
Jake's like the face of this. I don't even know what's up with that new sports book that he runs. We don't really like. We're not told this, but like it's kind of a thing here where it's like if someone's truly associated with another competing sports book, like we don't really touch it.
Correct.
No.
But unless it's newsworthy, which it was there, that's
yeah. Especially, it wasn't even Jake's initial call out. If it was just the call out, I wouldn't have blogged it. It was Patty going on TMZ right away and being like, "I accept." I was like, "All right, now we're in the,
Do you see the Hamza and Pereira?
Yeah, they did go back. Pereira's MMA Hour interview was crazy. The way he just like stood at Helwani the entire time while his translator was talking. He never broke eye contact for like 2 hours.
Did you see the angle of Izzy walking into the cage at UFC 281 where he's like,
I don't think
it's the sickest video ever. It like goes from like, you know how Izzy walked into the Saw music, and then he's like doing his whole thing.
He goes right past him.
Yeah, but Pereira just standing there, stiff as a rock, staring at him. And then, I mean, obviously, it took 5 rounds for him to knock him out, but it was fucking. Yeah, he's the scariest guy ever. Oh, do you see the story that he makes Glover Teixeira watches the UFC 281 every time they hang out?
Yeah.
I wonder what like Pereira does. So we live in Danbury, Connecticut. Like, what does he do all day?
Shoots his bow and arrows in the backyard.
There's places to do that. Yeah, and then he just runs around.
In his like countdown special, he was like kicking up soccer balls and like shooting the soccer balls out of midair.
Like he literally should have been born like 1,000 years ago, like fighting like wars.
Yeah,
with like a pick with like an axe.
He's like it's like you took someone in a time machine,
like throwing spears. Like he's.
You think he has hobbies? Like you think he watches shows or something?
No,
definitely not.
I don't think he watches shows, movies. I think he just does like man shit. I think he like cooks meat.
What does he do like on a Tuesday night?
he's like
he thinks about the next
works
time he's gonna knock
out,
someone out.
works out, hits a few bow and arrows, fucking cooks some elk,
Goes to bed. Jesus.
Maybe he listens to some like before he goes to bed. He listens to like Brazilian like motivational
Dude,
speakers.
the song he came out to, the music was nuts.
The music he comes out,
it's crazy. Like he literally comes out like he's like
war
going to war. Yeah. Like and
the way he does like I call it like the fighter selection screen. It's like
I literally picture him back in some like ancient time of that being like the like prize warrior.
Yeah,
like that, like the president looks at
what
like
he wears to the
or like
weigh-ins.
the head of like the like their country or like tribe or whatever, and he's like, this is like the one.
Yeah,
like he's like our like he's like they're like Rambo.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like
no,
I
see what you're saying 100%.
Like literally, he's nuts.
Fucking Pereira. Now, if we ever get to interview like Glover or anybody from that gym, I want to ask them like,
we need stories about him.
like what does he do?
Yeah,
like I'm not saying like I don't want to know about like his fighting. I want to know
that
like
intense too, like at the barbecue, like if you invite him to like a party, like what's he like?
Like how is he with your kids?
Yeah,
Does he just like?
He's just like hello.
Or is he secretly like playing with the kids, like messing around, like
or is he like one of those guys? Yeah, like behind the scenes, he's just a happy-go-lucky guy.
He's an interesting.
No,
he's
shot.
Just so intense.
He's a warrior.
Enigma. Yeah.
Have you ever seen the guy? He won the belt. He didn't smile.
No.
He just walked around like this, like when it was over. Like he was just like, I come to kill, I kill.
Also, this comment was a while ago, but I just saw Logan DeWolf. PFL show was awesome, and I won 1K from the giveaway.
Hell yeah!
Oh wow!
Shout out Logan DeWolf.
Good shit, Logan DeWolf.
1K, that's awesome. You got paid to watch PFL. Good for you.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I mean, we promoted that. That's great that PFL.
I hope we played a role in alerting Logan about that giveaway.
No, Logan's the fucking man.
He is the man. Let's talk about this UFC show. There's a ton of good fights.
I love the card.
Obviously, it's in Orlando, so you're going to get a full crowd vibe. It's not an Apex show. It's going to be better. Kicks off in the women's strawweight division. Hard names to pronounce here. Oh my god.
Oh, okay.
I'm about to get
Yasmin.
It's Yasmin and Nunez, but it's Estela Nunez.
Yeah.
Yasmin Jaregu.
Yeah, I really like Yasmin here.
9-0.
She's a beast.
She's a fucking beast, and the girl she's fighting, Isabella Nunez, lost to what's her name? Fucking she's a bum.
Sam Hughes.
Sam Hughes, not Reed. Elise Reed. Sam Hughes. Sam Hughes is. I mean, the only thing is why she lost her first two fights in UFC is she just got taken down a bunch. That's not what Yasmin does, but Yasmin, I think, is just a fucking killer. She's gonna go in there. I think she's worth her price tag. Definite parlay piece, especially get the day going.
She's 7 years younger than her too.
Yeah, and I think she's a legit prospect for the UFC, and she'll prove it here.
She was a part of that awesome fight on the
one in Orlando.
In San Diego.
That's right.
Where everyone was like, "Why the fuck is this two no-name girls on the main card?" And it was just an incredible fight.
I forgot about that.
That was
it was both their debuts, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was Yasmin versus Yasmin. I think they both had the same.
Two Yasmins. Yeah, that was an awesome fight on that card. In the featherweight division, Marcelo Rojo versus Francis Marshall. Another undefeated guy, Francis Marshall there, and way younger than Rojo. He's 23 to
lost
34.
by submission legitimately, like I think 50 times.
He's got 9 losses on the record. Yeah.
Marshall's a wrestler.
This is his debut. He's a Contender Series guy. I remember him.
I don't think he's gonna finish him. Like this is a fight that like you could. I've seen a lot of love for over on rounds over 1.5. You could even try to find one over 2.5. Rojo, there's been some love for 2.
He did get finished in his last 2 fights.
Submission
and knockout.
Yeah, this guy gets he gets finished.
I think that I actually kind of like Rojo.
Do you?
So my thing is here. The contender. I know a lot of gambling guys are big on fading some of the Contender Series guys, especially in their debut. When I mean, look at his last 2 losses. Yes, he lost his last 2 fights. They were to Charles Jourdain, who's a monster.
Yeah.
And Kyler Phillips, who was like a guy who was like bordering on ranked.
Yeah.
Who was ranked until I thought he lost a bad decision that he should have won to Paiva. I just think it's a weird like it's just one thing for sure. Francis Marshall has never fought anyone nearly as good as Rojo.
Fact.
I know. I think it's a dog, and I know the lines come down quite a bit, which makes me like Rojo even more. Not I wish I got it earlier, but then clearly there's a lot of love for Rojo, and I think rightfully so. I think it's more of a spot where I'll fade a guy who has never fought this kind of competition, who's like making his debut, like a regional guy who he might be very good. Like we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong, but
And
like a guy who said like, and I looked at some of those fights, like they were like good, like competitive fights with some of these guys. Like both those finishes, they both were in the third round.
Yep.
And they were like pretty competitive leading up to that. Like striking wise, he was competitive striking with Jourdain and Phillips, which if he's competitive with them, that means to me he's probably a better striker than Marshall. If he can avoid the takedowns, I think he wins. But that's a big if.
I don't think he's getting submitted, especially from a wrestler, which we've seen these wrestlers can get you to the ground, but their submission skills are not elite like the BJJ guys. All that being said, I agree with Ev. Rojo's the side. I think the real play here is the over, though. Over 1.5, over 2.5.
I don't hate that.
Even if and you're getting a decent price because there's this perception that Rojo is someone that gets finished. But as Ev just pointed out, they were late against two killers, too. Like two very active
like Jourdain's with 29 seconds left in the fight.
And then
Jourdain's a savage.
And yeah, fucking savage and a half. And then also Marshall, I think on his contender series, he won all 15 minutes.
I'm pretty sure he did. He was like pretty dominant, but I'm pretty sure he won all 15.
And we've seen a lot of these wrestlers, like they go 15 minutes, they just don't have like that unbelievable pop behind their punches or submission skills. So it's a recipe where you could find a potential fight goes the distance.
Yeah, well, I guess so. He's 6-0. What is 1, 2, 3, 4 finishes are all by rear naked choke. But these are also like considering guys like his debut, second fight fighting guy who was 0-0.
Yeah,
fighting a guy who was 3-2.
How much weight can you put into those?
Like fought a guy. The one before the contender series was fighting a guy who was 7-6.
Yeah,
he did beat a guy who was 5-0 on the contender series. I remember he did use a lot of wrestling. I forgot if he's the Jersey guy. Shout out Jersey. Shout out Francis.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, I remember. I was pretty sure that he was.
Jersey.
Yeah, he's a Jersey guy. Shout out Francis Marshall.
Always cheer for the Jersey.
But also looking at a Rojo. I don't know if it's Rojo, however you say it. 0-2 versus two pretty good guys in the UFC. This guy fighting for his life.
Yeah,
fighting for his career.
Fact.
So I think I think just all those things put into play. He's plus like 130 still. I like it.
In the lightweight division, Nathan Levy versus Gennaro Valdez. Another good fight, good matchup where both guys only have one loss on their record.
Valdez was the guy who the steamroller just like ran through.
Oh, yeah.
You remember he just like he knocked him down like 4 times.
That was
just blasted him.
Well, a huge fight.
Valdez fights really weird.
Yeah.
Like
wild, right?
He's just
like
a wild fighter. I think this is a death. It's like someone's dying here.
This is what I like. I kind of like the under.
Yeah, under round 1 finish for either of them. They're gonna go in there and they're just going to fucking because Nathan Levy's another guy that goes swing. They're gonna swing.
Yeah.
So I forgot Levy did win his last fight. Oh, Breeden's on that too. Like Breeden's no disrespect, not very good.
Yeah.
Oh, Breeden was the guy who Hernandez like ran through.
Mm-hmm.
Who Hernandez is good, but Breeden, I don't know if Breeden's even like UFC like level. Mm-hmm. And then he lost to Rafa. He lost to Rafa Garcia.
Like Levy didn't run through him or anything.
No, he didn't. It was a decision, which gives me extreme pause.
Yeah,
like that's not. I don't think either of these guys are like super good. He lost. Yeah, he lost to Rafa and Levy did. He lost to Rafa, who's like decent. Actually, Rafa's pretty good. Actually, I like Rafa, but yeah, I think unders a play. Like I think they both should just like they both bang it out.
In the women's flyweight division, Tracy Cortez takes on Amanda Hebos. After having Tracy Cortez in the office, we didn't interview her, but we interviewed Ortega. She was here for the whole thing.
Yeah.
I lean her just based on she was really cool with us.
Oh, she's awesome.
Yeah, very nice.
She was very nice. I mean, Ortega was like the chillest, nicest dude ever.
Chillest, yeah. He was one of my favorite interviews. Worth going back and watching.
Yeah. And then Cortez. So we saw fight not recently, a little bit ago, where she just like was.
What was her last?
Who'd she fight against?
It was Chukagian, I think.
No, it was against Melissa Gatto.
Wait, who?
Melissa Gatto.
Cortez.
Oh, I think you said Rebus.
Yeah.
My bad.
Oh,
No, yeah.
got it.
And so Melissa Gatto is kind of like Cortez had to be careful, right? So she wouldn't get submitted. And obviously Cortez does have a great, not great, but pretty good ground game. And she proved there that she could win that fight. I think it's kind of similar here with a Rebus or Hebos. That being said, I liked Hebos against Chookagian, and that was not a controversial decision, but it was a decision that some people thought, oh, maybe Hebos could have won, but Hebos got a lot of those takedowns on Chookagian and didn't do anything with them. I go back and forth here. Maybe I'm biased because Cortez was in the office. She was awesome. She was with Ortega's dad.
Yeah.
She was filming everything. They're one of like the best. I think they're still together.
They are.
Just a great UFC MMA couple. Definitely cheering for them, and I've always had a
He'll
soft
probably be
spot
in
for
her corner,
Hebos,
right?
but yeah.
It's a pick 'em fight too. It's losing. It's a coin flip.
This is a fight that's like Hebos. Like I've always had a soft spot for it because I've always felt like I've been betting her, but like I remember like I bet her against what's her name, who just smoked her. Fuck, she lost to Lemos. It was Lemos Rodriguez, I think.
Marina Rodriguez.
Yeah,
That was who she just lost. That was who Lemos just beat
yes,
in their most recent fight.
and Rodriguez smoked Hebos like a while ago, a year or two ago.
Yeah.
So, all that being said, I think Cortez may be the side here. Nothing confident though. Should be a good fight though.
Yeah, it should be.
I wonder if somebody will get a submission.
I think it was Cortez. Like she did an interview. Maybe it was MMA or something that basically she doesn't have a finish in UFC and looking to get the first one. I think she's training with Cejudo. I think.
Oh, interesting.
I think, but I'm pretty sure she is.
Who, Cortez?
I think so.
I'll go to her Instagram.
Moving along, we've got Darren Elkins versus Jonathan Pierce in the featherweight division. Darren the Damage Elkins, one of the all-time MMA tattoos on that guy's chest.
Unreal.
We'll never forget the day he got it. That was one of the greatest days MMA Twitter has ever had. Because when he first got it too, it's all red when you first get the tattoo and like it looks weirder. Oh man. And obviously one of the greatest comebacks in UFC history. Made Joe Rogan cry. Every time this guy fights, that's what we talk about. I think Jonathan Pierce is gonna pierce him up.
He beat the shit out of Makwani.
Magic has some funny tweets about this.
This fight?
This fight is
What, Elkins versus Pierce?
yeah.
I know what you're talking. A couple about just like the Elkins, like the value.
Also,
coupons.
I send Magic of the videos of Grace and Alex sparring, and he just responded, "Christ."
He's such a lover of the sweet science. He's
He was just he just
like
couldn't.
he's disgusted at the form.
He probably threw up.
the technique.
and that's nothing against Alex and Grace.
No,
he would have that response to all of Rough and Rowdy fights.
He loves Rough and Rowdy though.
He has that response to like UFC.
Oh yeah, you remember the girl that fought that he got into a fight with? The girl. She was so bad. She stunk.
She got smoked.
She twerked on stage.
Yes.
But
she was doing like the UFC, like when they do the she threw like an
the one was so funny.
And it was so bad. Oh, I have to find this.
He sees like Tyson Fury and says like his boxing stinks.
Yeah. Any thoughts on the Elkins Pierce?
I think Pierce looked really good in that. That was on that last England card.
Yeah.
He fought Makwani and honestly beat him up pretty good.
Yeah.
I thought that was a good win.
I'm gonna power through the next couple because I do have to shoot her off in Rowdy video. I'm not sure when. Michael Johnson versus Mark Diakasi.
Could I just read the Magic tweet?
Oh yeah, of course.
So it's the photo of like Leo from Wolf of Wall Street on the phone
Jordan
selling
Belfort,
like a bullshit stock. His name is Darren Elkins. They call him the Damage. Imagine what he does to his enemies. He is high pressure fighter out of TAM. The A is for Alpha. Like the Wolves. This just came into my desk, John. You won't regret it. You can get this savage at plus 350 against a hillbilly because Jonathan Pierce is like from Tennessee.
Yeah.
That's funny. I like Michael Johnson in this fight.
I don't.
You don't?
No, Mark D1 Diakasi. No, he's going. I think Mark
Wrestle.
He's just going. I think it depends if Michael Johnson get up, but I think Diakase can take him down like legitimately 35 times.
Diakase minus 335.
I like Michael Johnson.
Okay, no, I mean
I
like him.
He still has the quick hands, but
yeah.
I also Johnson just like I do really like him, and obviously he's a great action fighter, but he just is like the classic guy where like he's like winning a fight until he's not.
Yeah, no, I mean he's 21 and
he's
18.
he's at a bunch of these like first rounds where
record.
like he was like beating up Thiago Moises, then he gets leg locked like 10 seconds in the second round. Guida, similar thing happened where like he was winning, like ends up losing, gets submitted. I think like
Guida's in the next fight against Scott Holtzman.
This is a funny fight, or not funny.
I like Holtzman.
Yeah.
Okay, so I kind of like Guida there.
The only reason I like Holtzman is because when I looked at his last, he hasn't fought in a while, but his last 2 losses are just like he basically was like happened to be the like the sacrificial lamb before we knew he was being a lamb. Like his last 2 fights got knocked out by Beneil and Gamrot.
Yeah.
So it's like literally 2 of the
Gamrot
best
one, especially.
Literally 2 of the best fighters in the division.
What's Guida by sub?
I think I like
Guida wins by sub 12-1. I guarantee. I don't know what's on Magic's card. I guarantee that's on the card. I guarantee Magic gets that.
I don't know.
Magic by sub or Guida by sub. That's my play of the weekend.
I don't know. If you're watching on YouTube, apologies for that like choppiness.
I think let's try with my computer next time.
We'll try with yours next time.
Because it's not the wife. Like, yeah, sorry. We are in 2005 over here.
Yeah.
But next up, who's next up?
Angela Hill and Emily Ducote. Angela Hill lost by split decision. I hate to say it, but
so this is where I kind of like Hill. I mean, so Ducote, we saw her UFC debut
in Long Island.
It was on Long Island versus Jessica Penne, where I think Angela Hill, I just think is a much better striker than Penne.
100%.
And I do think this, and that's what Ducote wants to do. Like she wants to strike.
She throw in like 1,000 leg kicks.
Yeah,
she almost finished her with leg kicks. She honestly probably should have. But I just think this is like Angela Hill's a much better striker. I think Angela Hill could have the speed advantage here. She's a small dog, and I think she's worth that price tag for sure.
No, yeah, like Angela, I was just checking the line because like in her previous fights, it feels like Angela's a girl that you want to bet when she's plus 175, plus 200.
Yeah.
And then when she gets up into this like even range, you shy away. But Emily Ducote, like I wasn't very impressed with her. I don't know. This is a fight that will probably go the distance. And if you want to bet someone, you just might as well like bet Angela by decision. Probably get a plus 150 instead. And maybe I don't know if we have it on our book, but Angela by split decision, like just like a flyer.
A great.
Yeah, she's plus 150 by decision, and plus like 102 just straight up.
Yeah, bet decision. I'm gonna go on the other side decision though because Angela Hill, that's just the MMA gods, the fate, all of it. She'll outstrike destined to lose by split decision. In the welterweight division, Nico Price takes on Philip Rowe. Pretty good fight here as well.
This is a tough one for me.
I don't know.
Because
I lean Nico Price.
Nico's fought the much better competition. But Philip Rowe has looked really good in some of his fights. This is a really tough one for me. I've had a hard time.
Icon bought back and forth. Nico Price, like
he's a wild man. He's an absolute wild
man.
And
like how much more damage can he take, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Rowe can be a sniper at times.
And
he's like Mr.
reach
Second
is
round.
just like
nuts.
He's gonna walk in there and it's just gonna be like, oh my god, this guy's built like you would want to build a fighter. Nico's gonna go in there and pressure him though.
Yes.
Which does give me like I like Rowe, and then I'm like, wait, Nico's gonna go in there and make him fight. So is this what a fight that Rowe doesn't like?
And Nico's not like small.
He's not small. No.
Like where Rowe is very long. What's the reach advantage here? Is it?
I think it's probably pull it up.
4 inches.
Yeah, 4.5 inches.
Okay, so not like significant, but not like for MMA, not crazy.
Nothing crazy, and especially because Rowe likes to play on distance, and Nico will just go in there.
He doesn't get in his face. Fuck. Yeah.
The only thing is, I think if Rowe manages to like when Nico's trying to come in, just like kind of piece him up, I think he'd be able to do that. I see a lot of love for Nico, but I keep coming back to Phil Rowe in my mind.
Lee likes Rowe a lot in the chat.
In the chat.
I don't blame him. I mean, there's a lot there to like. He's looked good. I just think those will definitely be probably the best fighter that Rowe has fought.
Oh yeah.
Me just thinking in my head, like, because even his last fight, like I think he thought like, was Jason Witt who he fought in his last fight?
Who?
Rowe?
Yeah, I think so. And then,
which is like not a good.
But Nico
win.
Price has been in some wars, right? Cerrone. Who was it before Cerrone? Luque.
Luque.
He hasn't fought. He hasn't fought in a while. I'm pretty sure Price.
Yeah,
I think he was injured.
Nico's just like a guy that's like
Gabe Green.
Beat
Phillip Rowe.
Yeah, Gabe Green's like Ian Gary just like murdered him.
Yeah, I mean that like Gabe
which
Green's
Ian Gary's
fine.
very good, but yeah.
All right, now on to the main card. First fight on it in the middleweight division: Kyle Daukaus versus Eric Anders.
Okay, so like I've seen a lot of love for Eric Anders, and I just feel like everyone's gonna get disappointed again.
I think it's just we saw Daukaus get knocked out so
yeah,
fast.
like it's like
and we think it's like he's facing another guy with power.
Like Lee has his whole bankroll on Eric
Yes.
Anders.
Yeah.
Lee has his whole bankroll on Eric Anders.
I do too. After after Daukaus fucked us in the parlay last time.
I kind of want to bet on Anders. I mean, I'll post the parts because he's a big underdog. Anders is plus 175. Daukaus to me is like I like Daukaus, but I feel like he's very like.
Which Daukaus is the Dark Knight? This Daukaus?
Yeah,
yes.
the Dark Knight. Yeah, this
the Dark Knight.
Like that's what is kind of what I was gonna say. He seems almost in this fight like I don't want to say submission or bust. I don't think that's quite correct, but I think that's like his biggest path to victory. And I don't. Anders definitely hits hard. Like if Anders turns this into a brawl, like Daukaus is in trouble. Anders needs to go in there and turn it into a brawl.
Lisa's why all caps. Why is Daukaus this big a favorite?
He was a huge favorite against Dalades too, and Dalades just went in there and just smashed him.
Yeah, Dalades.
And we'll get to Dalades later.
Yeah. I mean,
Dalades like
this is what's gonna happen. All right, like Eric Anders is gonna hold he's gonna hold Daukaus against the cage. And everyone's gonna be like, Alabama, national champion.
I was gonna think they're gonna bring up the national champion. And then like 10 tackles.
And then he's gonna lose by split decision. And then Lee's gonna be tweeting like he just lost like the biggest robbery of all time. That's what's gonna happen. I'm not betting Daukaus, but I'm not gonna feel bad for you when you lose this bet.
This is one of those like I wouldn't go like not empty the bankroll on Anders, like maybe like a 1 unit play, maybe.
Yeah.
Or like 10 minutes before the fight, I'm like, you know what? Like, give me some action. Like, give me Anders.
I wish you guys best of luck.
Speaking of Dalades, he takes on Jack Hermanson in the next fight on the card.
But Hermanson is very good and gives me concern.
I was gonna say, do you like Dalades in this fight? I like Jack in this fight.
It's tough because like I said, I've been a big Dalades rider. He's made me some money in the past. He keeps being underdog. He keeps winning.
He's the dog in this one, right?
Yes, he is. He's plus 150. Hermanson is by far the best guy he's fought. Hermanson's pretty well rounded. His striking in his last fight against Chris Curtis looks the best it's ever looked. Dalades is much taller and like bigger than Chris Curtis is, much longer. Dalades, I think, has power that people are not giving him credit for yet, and that's the part where I think he could. He definitely has the power advantage over Hermanson.
Yeah.
But Hermanson's definitely more well-rounded.
Hermanson all around is just awesome.
I'm just a Dalades guy, so I'll ride Dalades. Plus 150. He's been good to me. I'm up money on betting on him. He's just always a dog.
I'm massive on Hermanson.
I don't blame anybody for saying that.
I think he's my play. His line's gone a little bit out of whack, but I think he's just going to do what he did against Chris Curtis.
You think he's going to stand and jab?
Yeah. And then he can wrestle with him if he needs to. But I think
it's going to be stand-up fight too.
And the cage is bigger in Orlando. That's big for him too. Hermanson's footwork is elite. We saw that against Curtis, who also has very good. Curtis couldn't get to Hermanson and made him
angry.
So angry. Yeah. He almost
he was tweeting about it.
He was tweeting. He was so mad. And then he ended up being like, oh, I like this guy. Because Hermanson's like legitimately the nicest dude in the UFC.
Yeah, he was like, I don't know why he's so mad.
I remember, and maybe Hermanson after this can where's he from? Switzerland?
Sweden, yeah.
Sweden. He's like, please, Sweden Sports Commission, make MMA legal.
Yeah. Tai Tuivasa returns to the octagon against Sergey Pavlovich. Love Tai. Won't go against Tai.
Bam, bam.
Yeah.
Pavlovich, I don't know. Pavlovich is weird because obviously I think he's only lost once. He's very good. The Derek Lewis fight, he definitely was piecing him up early. I thought very early stoppage. He did like fall forward, but you saw he stood up
Bad
immediately.
stoppage. I hate
and
it.
you could tell he was very in it. His eyes were there. He didn't wobble at all. And I think what we saw that listen, if he can go get Cyril Gane's chin, he can get anybody. He can touch anybody's chin. I thought even though in a loss, I thought he was impressive.
No, Gane
we
said
said after that fight,
we
were like his stock went up.
Hardest he's ever been hit.
Yeah,
he said he legitimately was out.
He said he was knocked out.
He said he legitimately was out and like hitting the ground, basically like woke him back up. And Ty will you get your money's worth.
Totally.
Like he's not going to go in there and just get like jabbed. He's going to go in there and just if he gets knocked out, he gets knocked out. He's going to go in there and throw.
I'm like,
why is this guy?
I'm just like, why is Sergey such a big favorite?
They love him. Like
what are the odds? How big of a favorite?
He's minus 210, right?
Yeah. Because I was like Tuivasa plus like 180-ish.
I love that.
He is. Where is it?
How do you not love that?
Yeah, he's plus 170.
And I also think if Sergey gets caught here, he's not like an iron chin.
Dude, Ty hits anybody. Like they're hurt badly.
Ty could knock anybody in the division.
100%.
Anybody in the world.
He hits like a fucking truck.
And what happens if Ty takes him into second, third round? We saw Ty did that against Gane in what, the fourth round?
Like second or third.
So
maybe late second.
As long as Ty doesn't get like fucking destroyed in the first round, second, third round, Sergey's a little tired, catches him sleeping, boom, dead, headshot. Like I don't know, I kind of like it. I feel like a sucker betting it, but guess what? Suckers win sometimes.
Yeah.
They got Matthew Christopher Schnell. They put his full name on there.
Nice.
Matt Schnell returns to the octagon. Another guy we saw fight on Long Island and put on one of the most insane comebacks you could ever
100%.
imagine in combat sports.
I think it should be nominated fight of the year.
Agreed.
I think it's in that top like 3 or 4 for sure.
It's him
Incredible
versus Nicolau in the flyweight division. Love Schnell. You have to worry about a guy after taking the beating he took in the last fight.
Of course, I mean, and Nicolau is very good.
Yeah.
This is tough. I mean,
he took such a beating in the last.
I mean,
he
got
the
clipped
clip we put up.
Bunch.
Holy shit! He got rocked 100 times, more rocked than I've ever seen anyone that went on to win a fight.
Yeah, this is because I think the hits I had on Schnell, I'm like literally forever indebted to him.
Yeah,
I almost feel like I almost feel like I owe him a unit here.
Friend of Mintz, yeah.
I owe him to like put a unit on him. The matchup is not good.
But also like it's one of those things where if he comes back and he wins this fight as well, you'll beat yourself and be like, how did I not bet on him after the last fight?
I mean, I don't want to go minus 400.
Yeah.
Nicolau's good.
I'll put that. He's very good.
Very good. Schnell, I'm a little concerned, like even like in the fight he won, like he recovers really quickly, but his chin's not the greatest.
Yeah, he was getting smashed.
But I'm rooting for him.
Big
Of course, you have to
Big
be
time
rooting for him. He was a great guy.
Mincy's like, yeah, I wonder if Mincy
Mincy's
even
cool
knows
way.
he's fighting this weekend. If not,
We should alert him. Yeah, we'll tell him. Good for him getting a big spot on that main card, though. In the co-main event, Brian Barberena versus Rafael Dos Anjos.
2 Bam Bams on the card.
This is a murder. This is weird matchmaking. I get that Dos Anjos didn't really have other opponents. I think Dos Anjos is going to go in there. I think he's worth his price. I think I wouldn't bet him,
he's
but
minus 560 now.
I wouldn't
he
bet him,
minus
but
like 300 range.
I think he should be minus 500.
Yeah, he's minus 560.
The only way
I don't see any way where Barberena wins.
It was only if RDA decides not to wrestle or take him down.
If he gets caught with a
but even Barberena is not like he's not like a one punch guy. He's like just like getting a brawl and like the Lawler, like basically his last 2 fights were he gets like really old, like it's Matt Brown and Lawler. Where
the Matt Brown fight was so funny.
It was
Teddy Atlas called it Gotti Ward with elbows.
Yeah.
That was the greatest fight.
It was a good fight. Like it was entertaining.
It was
fight.
fun, but
it was in that Columbus card in March.
Yeah,
it was like during March Madness.
It wasn't like, oh my god, we're watching the highest level MMA. Like
it was like 2 old guys that were just leaving it all out on the line, which was awesome.
Yeah, it was great.
Barberena's actually not that old. He's only like 31.
He's fight old, is what he is. You know, he's been around for a bit.
Yeah, like RDA is just so much better everywhere.
Everywhere.
Like it's just hard to see like where's like get it like how does Barberena get RDA to fight Barberena's fight? I don't see how he does it.
No.
Like Barberena's or RDA is not gonna be like fuck it, like let's just brawl so you have a chance.
Yeah, why would he do that? And he's like probably on a contract where it's like 250. So it's like
big one, yeah.
It's like if he wins, he makes another like massive amount of money.
Let me go like strike a little bit, wrestle this guy.
Yeah.
Also, I even think RDA's striking's better than Barberena.
It is. It's more
Yeah,
technical and all
it's
that.
definitely crisper. His footwork's better. Barberena is just a sloppier fighter overall. No disrespect.
See, I want to see Barberena just fight other guys like that.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I want to see him fight the Robbie Lawlers, the Matt Browns. That's perfect matchmaking.
See,
It
was interesting because if they Lawler's fighting Ponzinibbio next week,
yeah,
that would be like a guy who they could have given to him.
The fact he's still getting fights.
Yeah.
I mean, how old is he?
Who?
Robbie?
Yeah.
38.
He's
37,
another like fight old guy. Yeah.
37, 38, I think.
Yeah. You imagine he's like Max Holloway. Like, yeah, he's 30.
Well, he had 2 stints in the UFC, like 2 full runs. The main event, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson versus Kevin Holland. I was bummed about this. We heard earlier in the week, Jack Black is going to be walking out Wonderboy, and now he's not walking.
Yeah, he's not going to be able to make it.
Unfortunately, he can't make it. This is another one where I think this is going to be a pretty one-sided fight. I think Kevin Holland is going to win this pretty easily.
No.
I do. I hate to say it. I think, I don't know. I'm just not confident in Wonderboy in 2022 against Holland. Are you?
Specifically, once this gets into the later rounds, yeah, I think it'll just piece him up. I think Wonderboy's still an elite striker.
He's good. He's a great striker. He is.
Wonderboy.
But does he have power? Any power anymore?
He'll win, but he has the cardio, and he'll win via decision.
I'm kind of like I'm in between the two of you. I'm like very like.
So
I think it's gonna be a really good fight. Holland's really fast.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. Like I think Wonderboy's still sharp. Like he's lost his last fights by just getting wrestled.
Yes.
He lost his last fights by just getting kind of like disarmed.
Exactly.
Like Gilbert disarmed him. Bilal disarmed him. Like he didn't really get to fight. Like he kind of just got in these fights where he just got wrestled for 3 rounds. He didn't get to fight. Like I think that even shows like how Gilbert didn't even with his power and all that. He didn't want to trade with him.
Like I could see Holland.
Holland's different. Holland just that he's longer. Like Holland can actually match the reach.
Yep.
He can match like their size pretty similarly.
But more power.
He does have power. He definitely has more power than Wonderboy at this age for sure. And he's pretty fast. 5
rounds is a lot of time to get caught.
For sure. He doesn't. It's hard to hit him though, Wonderboy. I'm not super opinionated. I'm more. This might be one I just as a fan. I'm excited. I'm very excited to watch.
Like
I don't really have like a true gambling like. To be if I made a gun to my head and said pick somebody, based on the price, I'd probably want to take the dog just because I think it's that close.
Yeah,
and that is Wonderboy, but I'm not very opinionated on that at all. And I'm a huge Kevin Holland fan. Huge Kevin Holland fan as a person.
I feel like Kevin Holland now is as good as Anthony Pettis was a couple of years ago when he beat him.
Maybe better. Kevin Holland, I think Kevin Holland's very underrated.
But when Anthony beat Wonderboy, right? Wonderboy was piecing him up and then
smoking him.
Yeah.
He landed the massive.
And
punch.
it was one of the greatest knockouts we've seen. All that being said, I don't know. I don't see it from Holland. Also, I don't love how much he's talking about retirement. I don't know if it's a bit or not, but like
it's weird. No. So it's not. So I don't know if you watched the full interview he did this week. It was not that. It was more so he was annoyed. He was annoyed by the way like Hamzat's kind of been treated. Some of these guys where he was basically saying how for example he just has to step up. Like Hamzat's like this big star. He misses weight by 9 pounds like a total asshole if you think about it.
Yeah.
And then he just has to step up. He's supposed to fight Daniel Rodriguez. And then he just has to step up and bite the bullet for the company and fight this guy that clearly a
killer. Yeah.
Clearly a killer. He kind of was like, it's not fair. That was more his mindset where he's like, I think he's making enough money doing other things that I think that's kind of where his head was at. Where he's like, if I'm going to get treated like shit and these other guys are going to just do whatever they want and they can just get away with it. He was like, then he also said he was going to retire for this fight. Yep. And they gave him Wonderboy. He's like, well,
Logan says I swear this is a make-up fight for Holland after taking a blow against.
He's like, that's kind of a little bit.
I mean, they're giving it's not like they're giving him a bum. Wonderboy's still very good.
It's not a bum. It's saying we're giving you someone who is not going to wrestle 100%.
A main event.
That's more what Logan means. I think that's kind of what I meant too. Where they're giving this is a fight this
is his style.
He had called out Wonderboy in the past. He knows this guy. If there's anybody in the UFC that's not going to wrestle, it's Wonderboy.
Did you guys see who Wonderboy wants to fight if he wins this one? Nick Diaz. He's already said, I want to fight Nick Diaz with a win here. I think that's a weird call out as well, considering how the last fight went. But again, it's like, Who can Wonder Boy fight that he hasn't fought already that's going to stand up and is not going to grapple with him?
Well, that's his problem too, where he said he's still like, he basically said if he wins this fight, like he still wants to be in like belt contention. With I get it, because like you're still ranked at the top, but like all these guys at the top, like he just like he lost to Gilbert, lost to Bilal, we said.
Yeah.
There's no one else really up there that's gonna like just strike.
No.
Like look at all the guys like Colby, obviously like
MMA is like moving past him in a way.
Like Leon.
Yeah.
Like he's the champion. Like you're not getting that fight anytime soon.
Yeah.
There's no one else really there. Like Shavkat, that would have been brutal. If they just fed him
limbo.
If they just fed him to Shavkat. Which I think Shavkat's not getting a fight because no one wants to fight that guy.
Yeah.
And I think he could fuck around and have the belt in a couple of years.
100%.
Maybe sooner if people would actually fight him. They're gonna make somebody fight him eventually.
Yeah. All right. That's the UFC Orlando breakdown. Do we want to put together a parlay for the people?
Yeah, why not?
Couple picks that we like.
So I mean, we could
stay away from the main event.
We could start with RDA.
Yep, RDA is a lock. We could throw Ty in there if we want to just if we want some good odds, get crazy.
See, I know you don't want him. I would put Diakase in it.
I would. Do you want Casey?
I'd let you guys. I'd let you guys override me there, 2-1.
Do you want a Casey? I like the first
Pierce,
fight. Yasmin.
And Yasmin.
Yasmin, Pierce.
The four of those
RDA.
The four of those is only 140 because they're all like huge favorites.
RDA.
Throwing Ty.
Yeah, Yasmin, Pierce, Diakase, and RDA are plus 141.
I love Hermanson, but if you don't want to do that.
I just think Dalades has something, and I think he's got some power that people are not fully giving him credit for yet.
I feel like take those four, the plus 140. That's the parlay. But then the parlay plus.
I'll tell you what it is with Ty.
You throw in Ty.
With Ty, it's plus 552.
Boom. That's the parlay plus. That's the parlay. 140 makes you some money.
When we started,
throw in Ty with a sprinkle.
We did those parlays. We hit like 3 in a row. One was like 11-1.
Crazy.
Then you want to know which one was
never
the big
hit one ever again.
We hit the big Russian one.
Yes.
Just a bunch of OVs.
It was the card when Jan beat Sandhagen for the interim.
Oh yeah, it was.
And we almost lost it, but that guy who's like the kickbot, or he was losing to what's his name? He's African. He's from.
Wait, say it again.
He fought
who?
He started off that fight card, and he's fought and it's not in Czech Wee.
There's in Czech Wee and in Czech Woo.
Yeah, Tofan or whatever you say his name.
Yeah, and Czech Wee was killing him, and then
he was fighting
that Russian.
Oh, Matt. Yes. It's like Maz or something. He was a Contender Series guy. Yeah,
and then he knocked him out in the third round, and I think that's what.
And then we won like every
other fight.
It was great.
The good times, the good old times that we haven't seen in a while. Well, hopefully we turn it around this weekend.
The last one we hit, I'm pretty sure was like, I think it was the Chandler front kick to Ferguson.
Yeah, it was. That was like a long time ago. So we're gonna try to win a parlay this weekend. Hopefully you join us on that. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.